First of all, can we get into these lashes? These are the biggest, longest, fullest lashes that I own. And I don't hate them. Welcome to my channel. This is Take a Breath with Alexis, and I'm Alexis, and in today's video we will be talking about my goals for 2021. Okay, so I do realize that I am putting out my goals video a little later in the year, but a lot happened, and better late than never, right? So my first goal for 2021 is to read one book a month. When I was younger, I was such an avid reader, and then I got a TV in my room and like all of that went away. So during quarantine, I started getting back into reading again or reading more often again, and I really enjoyed it. So this year I really want to make it my goal to read one book a month. Am I still reading A Fault in Our Stars? Yes, I started reading that in November. But I also read multiple books at one time, so that's why I'm kind of still reading it, but I'm going to just sit down and like make myself finish reading that book this month. I potentially will have a series on my channel about the books that I've read. Maybe like every 3 months I'll kind of do like a recap on the books that I've read and my opinion on them, but that's just an idea. My next goal is to be more physically active this year. Last year, I think all of us spent a lot of time sitting down, more time than usual sitting down. So this year, I want to get back to my regular active self. Before COVID, I think I exercised or worked out at least 3 times a week for at least 45 minutes. So that is my goal. While I would love to lose some weight, because I did gain some weight during COVID, that's my main goal. Isn't to really lose weight, because I feel like that will be the result of all the changes that I'll make. So my main goal is to be more active and just be more mindful about what I'm eating. I don't want to cut out my like favorite guilty pleasure foods, but I do want to be more mindful and have like more of a balance in there. And I feel like by combining those two things, it will result in me losing weight, because that's what I've done in the past to lose weight and it happened. So I figure it'll work again, right? So the next goal that I have is to become a more secure dancer. As many of you know, I am a Polynesian dancer, and specifically I've been dancing Tahitian dance for about a year and a half, and I've done several competitions. But something that I noticed last year was that I was not comfortable in my own skin while I was dancing, and I really started like, I just had this like negative like self-talk that I would have in my brain that really would defeat all the hard work I was putting in to make myself better, if that makes any sense. So my goal this year is to become more confident, and not like in an ego kind of way, but like instead of the negative self-talk and looking down on what makes me different, I really want to embrace what makes myself different and really fix the negative self-talk. So instead of saying something like, I can't do that, I want to say like, I'm working on that, or I'm improving on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because honestly, there's only one Alexis, right? So when I go on this stage, there's only one person that looks like me, and I should not be like shameful of that, or I should be confident in that. I should take pride in that, instead of like, well, you're not as good as everybody else. Like, no, you're not as good as everybody else, but there's nobody else who dances like you do. There's nobody who looks like you do. So you should embrace that. Does that make sense? Anyway, and then I have my last 2 goals are like kind of random, so just bear with me. My next goal is to participate in a beauty pageant. I know beauty pageants are like controversial, but your girl has always wanted to be in a beauty pageant. When I was 1 year old, my mom put me in a pageant, and I actually came in first place, but I never did a pageant after that. So I said when I was 30 I was going to do a beauty pageant. I didn't realize I would be turning 30 during a pandemic. However, I have found an amazing beauty pageant called Miss Amazing, and it's actually a pageant for girls and women with disabilities. So like, I feel like it's the perfect pageant for me. So I will keep y'all posted on how that goes and everything, but that's one of my goals. And lastly, my last goal is to write a book. Now I know that that seems extremely random, but I've always loved writing and storytelling. Like, even like, I can remember being in preschool and the teacher would let me do story time, and I would just like come up with these stories like off the top of my head, and like my fellow preschoolers would love them. So I've always had like a knack for storytelling, and I've always wanted to write a book. And several years ago I had this like crazy intense dream, and I told my best friend about it, and she was like, oh my god, that would be an awesome book. So I've decided that I'm gonna write that book, and I've already started on the outline, and I will keep y'all posted on how it goes. And with that, that is all my goals. Now I know you're like, that is a really short goal list. It is, but I like to keep my goals for the new year short, because that way I'm not like overwhelmed with like 20 goals to accomplish. But I also like to set goals that are like a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole getting healthy thing. I don't want to just do that for next year. Like, I want to do that from now moving forward. Oh my gosh, I forgot a goal. There's one more goal. My goal, and this is truly the last goal. I want to really dive into vintage styling and vintage style. I have personally been an admirer of vintage style since I was in high school, but I never had the gall to give it a try. Like, I definitely had like vintage inspired outfits that I would wear, but to try incorporate, I've never tried to incorporate it in my everyday style. But now that I work with Vintage Inspired by Jackie, I have a ton of vintage inspired items in my clothes, and just in my personal style tends to be vintage inspired. So this year I'm gonna be working on really honing in on that and trying to figure out, not figuring out, but really, you know, exploring that side of myself this year. That is it for this video. In the comments down below, tell me some of your goals for this year, 2021. And that's it. If you like what you've seen in this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. That way you will see awesome videos like this every Friday. And that's it. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.